Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Modern Warfare 2 as a title so far has seen a lot of ups and downs. That's, an understatement, right? This game launched with maybe the most hype ever for a Call of Duty title. I mean, this thing shattered sales records initially, and then it dropped off a cliff because of the various issues that it had at launch. With stability and just holding a player base, it fell off pretty harshly, right? But it has been a roller coaster. It's improved in some areas, maybe stayed a little bit more stagnant in some areas as well. But today I wanted to focus on a handful of mistakes that Modern Warfare 2 has made along the way that really, I feel like, severely limited this game. Sort of as a retrospective look back at what MW2 was at launch versus where it's at now. Going into the year, I feel like we had certain expectations in regards to various areas that I want to focus on here. And unfortunately, a good amount of those expectations just weren't met. Initially here, by far, I think one of the major flaws of this game is making the same mistake that we did last time with Warzone 1, having it on the same application as MW 2019. Obviously, Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2, and honestly, if you want to throw in DMZ as well, you could. They're all on one application. They're not separate. They made it seem like going into the year, Warzone 2 was going to be Warzone 2, and Modern Warfare 2 was going to be Modern Warfare 2. Now, yes, obviously this is inconvenient for those with limited hard drive space. You have to download two large games, probably 100 plus gig games if you want to actively switch between the two. But long term, having these as two separate apps has a lot of benefits. You're able to make changes in one game without directly negatively sort of affecting the other one, as we've talked about previously. You could upgrade one in certain ways over the years, mainly Warzone 2, upgrading it for the future integrations of other games without directly impacting MW2. Having them on the same application just ends up causing a lot more issues overall than what it solves by saving some hard drive space, right? As we've seen with the weapon tuning, it all is universal. They don't do separate weapon tuning anymore, so that created this whole thing where now in Warzone 2 we have this very strange armor damage system that we've never had before that just complicates things even more when it comes to testing and dissecting patch notes and everything like that. Obviously, you can't have any major core mechanical changes when it comes to gameplay fundamentals in one mode versus the other, unless you're okay with both games getting the same change. If you wanted to change movement in Warzone 2, it would change the movement in Modern Warfare 2, and they might not want that for multiplayer, even though it would work in Warzone or vice versa. So having them tethered together on the same application, just a mistake, especially for the long term now as we look towards COD 2023 and COD 2024. They're going to have to then change things around with Warzone 2 and how it's downloaded and installed because it's stuck with MW2 for the time being. So I feel like that was a lesson that we learned back in Warzone 1, and then they went ahead and immediately did it again here to start the year with Warzone 2 and MW2. So that one's kind of unfortunate. Another thing that I feel like they really missed out on was one of the few positives that came out of the Vanguard year, and that is combat pacing in multiplayer. Being able to select if you want to play the more casual tactical game of 6v6 on any of the maps, or increasing the pace a little bit, maybe 7 versus 7, 8 versus 8, or going all out crazy with Blitz and playing 10 on 10 and 12v12 on some of the smaller maps, I thought made Vanguard awesome. For the most part, yeah, Vanguard got a lot of hate. It was a very, basic game. It didn't stand out in a lot of ways, but one of my biggest takeaways from that year was how much fun multiplayer was because of combat pacing. Being able to actively force chaos on a map that otherwise probably wouldn't have flowed that well was great. And, here in MW2, obviously, gameplay is pretty slow. The movement, is bogged down some. It's a lot more tactical, and some of the maps are pretty big for 6v6. So if you could change that out to 10v10 like what they have with some of the Mosh Pit playlists already, those play so much more fun for my playstyle. But obviously, that's just my opinion. But if you have combat pacing, you could just change that. You don't want to play 10v10 on, this map? All right, go play 6v6. Go play 7v7. You have that option there. I feel like it creates a lot more personality in gameplay, but also helps players go after their desired flow of a map that might vary with size. There are some smaller maps that maybe 10v10 would suck on because it's just constant spawn die, spawn die, spawn die. Other maps, though, way too big for 6v6. You could adjust as needed. Combat pacing was a fantastic feature, and I'm bummed that they didn't bring that back. By the way, quick reminder, as we're going throughout all these, mistakes, in my opinion at least, if you guys are new here or if you have not already subscribed, Every single day, I got you covered with all things going on in COD and occasional sort of different style videos like this. If you like what you see, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications to always know when I upload a new video. And if you guys enjoy this one, if you guys agree with the points that I'm making here, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. You never know what kind of positive impact we could have on the games moving forward. Anyways, focusing back, pre-launch, we actually obviously had a lot of promo for different elements in game, some of the new features. One of the big selling points, one of the big talking points pre-launch for MW2 was the vault packs. A big complaint throughout Warzone 1 and the eras there with MW 2019 Cold War Vanguard was buying store blueprints, buying really cool bundles, changing the setups to fit your playstyle or to fit the meta, and the blueprint looks like garbage now because it looks nothing like what it did when you bought it because it had a terrible setup on it. And the vault packs were supposed to change that. You get every single attachment with the same look. So if you change between a long barrel or a short barrel, the weapon still looks like the blueprint. If you change the magazine, it still has the same pattern on it. Well, vault packs stopped and started with the pre-launch one for the Cinder Vault pack for the M4 platform. That is the only one that we got. They certainly made it seem like it was going to be something that was going to be popular and frequent in game for the various family trees of weapons with the Lockman, thing, the cast-off family tree. Yet the M4 is the only platform that ended up seeing one. I feel like that's a major missed opportunity to really make weapons feel more connected and then also give players the freedom of building correct setups and still having a weapon that looks really cool. Like, to me, if there's a bundle that is, a decent build and a really cool blueprint look and a really cool camo, but it's not the meta, I'm not going to buy that one versus a build that looks a little bit more subpar. Maybe it's, not as flashy of a camo or whatever, but I can change it to whatever build I want and it's going to look the same. That's a lot more enticing. I feel like those packs would just make more financial sense as well. But hey, vault packs are just like a mystery at this point. Who knows if we're ever going to see more from that. Then finally here, something that always I am interested in with multiplayer is the grinds. And the main one this year was the camo grinds. Personally, I could not care less about the mastery charm that you get for going after every weapon. Now, if there was an ultra mastery camo for mastering every weapon after Orion, I'd be doing that, trust me. But a weapon charm, that's honestly a little bit insulting. Like, that's a joke. I also, though, severely miss the customization grinds that we saw back in previous games. Specifically, like for me, reticles was always cool. I love blue dots. It's just a fun way to customize my weapons a little bit more. And frankly, I find them to be a bit easier to use and more clean with visibility than just basic red dots. But you can't grind for a custom blue dot by completing challenges. You can't grind for alternative reticles on a 3.4 times like the VOK we used to throw on T-pose and whatnot. Those were small things that, again, just added more personality to your gameplay. Using an optic or a reticle that's really true to your style, which you enjoy more than just the standard ones that they force us to use. I'm not sure why that was, changed out. There have been various reticles now appearing in the store, so maybe they thought, all right, let's take out some of the blue dot and like different reticle customization and just sell them in bundles because money, right? But to me, that just kills off part of the want to return to multiplayer week in and week out to complete this challenge or to unlock this site or to unlock this camo, right? Customization grinds this year really felt lackluster, and that to me doesn't help with the player retention whatsoever. So MW2 certainly had some missteps along the way. These are all things that if they were included in the game and if they were changed, would probably have helped a lot. Now, of course, there's still the core mechanics of the game with the movement, the TTK, this, that, and whatever else. All of that obviously is where the majority of whether or not players like the game or don't lies. But at the same time, small quality of life improvements here and there certainly could go a long way ultimately, and I wish we had more things to correct some of the missteps of MW2. Anyways, with all that being said, that is effectively going to wrap things up for this one. If you guys enjoyed, let me know by dropping a like on the video, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button to always stay up to date with everything going on between MW2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.